Hello, you divine, infinite human beings. You're all that is, ever has been, and ever can be. Your divine, infinite love. Your divine, infinite source. Your divine, infinite truth. And you are magic. Magic, 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 magic. I want to take a moment to talk about magic because actually we're coming up to Halloween. Now, magic is so misunderstood. It's the most misunderstood thing on the planet. The truth about magic is that, well, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist and it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in the sense that we, before the fall, as divine infinite human beings, 12-stranded silicon-based Christos beings, had magic, but it was just part of us, okay? And what is magic? Let me define that, okay? Magic is the ability to, and I don't want to use the word command because that's not the right word. Our ability to utilize the divine infinite source that is in everything around us. It's in the spirits of the trees, in the ground, in the foods, in the animals, in the universe all around us. In the Deva kingdom, the fairies, the gnomes, all these creatures, we were able to not only communicate, but we knew the truth that we were one with them. So the fabric of the universe, the divine spirit, was ours to command. Yes, I will say the word command. Command. Why? Because we were divine Christos beings, Christ beings that abided and followed the law of one, that served, that was of service to the oneness of all creation. So there was no black magic, there was no bad magic. It was just as natural. We didn't even have to think about it. It was as natural as breathing, or maybe not today, but breathing or raising our hand or opening our heart. It was done with love. It was done in service. It was done just by thinking of what you needed to have done. It was done as we worked with the soil, as we grew things, as we nurtured, as we worshiped. And the Hebrew word for worship is worked for, as we worshiped nature, because we worked for nature, because we worshiped nature, okay? And what happened is after the fall, when we were pulled down, we were degraded, downgraded into our 12-stranded DNA was downgraded, and we lost not only our ancestral memories of the time before the fall, before Atlantis, we also lost our ability to just easily perform magic. So we had to focus our thoughts, work harder to focus our thoughts, and to use our thoughts. And by doing this, we created spells, incantations. We used props. We used aids like crystals and stones and pieces of the nature around us to create this sympathetic, this connection that we had lost. And so that became the magic. And we also, but there were those among us who still retained strands of DNA of the Christ-like being. These were the Christ-like beings that walked among us, that retained the memories and these abilities, and they would write everything down. They would write this information down for others to share. And what happened was, as the dark forces that enslaved us took this, they searched out these Christ-like beings, these 12-stranded or highly evolved DNA stranded beings who retained the magic, who retained the power within and the memories within. And they searched them out and they killed them. They killed them. And this is what we see throughout history, the Great Purge, the Inquisition. And they claimed everything that had to do with this power that we had inside of ourselves was evil, was bad. This was the destruction of the pagan worship, okay? And I'll get to that because there's a twist to that. But the pagan, the true meaning behind the magical, the pagans, this was this worship or working for the natural elements in a harmonious, organic, creative fashion. So what they did, most of the witches that they burned were just women that retained this knowledge, that wrote down this ability to work, to heal, to use this powers for positive, and passed it down to their daughters. And of course we had the men too. They were the warlocks, the wizards, the sorcerers. These all got bad names. They were considered to be dark forces, and they were burnt at the stake. And then all their information was confiscated over the centuries. Now, what happened though is that those that took that information used it and twisted it to no longer be of service to the one, to service to others, to use it to uplift, to heal, to work in harmony and serve nature. They distorted it and inverted it to serve self, into black magic. So we have countless black magic sorcerers, and the Vatican is one of the biggest ones of black magic, because they use it to serve themselves, to control, to attack, to manipulate, and to cast spells over the minds of human beings, of Christos human beings. And we've been taught that anything to do with that power that we have inside of ourselves is evil, is bad. And it's the way you use it, of course, as with anything. As with a knife, you can cut food and feed people with it, or you can kill someone with it. It's how it's being used. We have to use our brains there. And to this day, anyone that's part of a Christian religion is taught to view anything of these occult or esoteric, these symbols, as bad and evil. These symbols were originally to uplift you and bring you closer to who you really were. They were memories of who we were, but they've been inverted to further enslave us, so they have become demonic, evil, satanic forces. But the truth is, we need to get back to our creation codes, to our organic worshiping or working with nature, because that is where our power comes, and that is how we return. And as we remember, as we accrue more and more DNA, as we activate our 12 strands of DNA, this will just become the natural to us. We will long for this, which is why we need to move out of this artificial, non-organic, non-God oriented technology, which is really black magic, because it's a distortion of the God's natural laws for self-serving purposes. Ciao for now.